Horse stance, good morning. So this is how we set this bad boy up. Feet are gonna be together. We're gonna flick the heels out first, then toes for 5. So 3, 4. On the 5th one, give or take, your toes should be roughly facing forward. A temptation with often this movement is just to turn the toes out. We wanna try to avoid doing that, okay? A little bit turned out is okay, but not duck-footed. From there, spine stays vertical and it's gonna allow his knees to travel forward, keeping the spine vertical still. Now Phil's got amazing hip flexibility, so he can, look ridiculously good here. We want to make sure the posture is as upright as possible. Now, maintaining that angle of the hips, we're going to pitch forward at the hips or hinge forward at the hips, keeping the spine nice and long. Pause here if the tempo or the prescription is so, and then we're going to slowly posture up, pushing the hip forward while pulling the knees back behind the hips, using your butt. One more time for me, please. Slow, controlled, and then keep pulling your knees back behind the hips as you posture up. Nice. And coming up from the side view, guys, a couple of things. Let's play this up so we can also talk about the loading, please. Okay. So from the side view, we do like to kind of hold a little plate, okay? Now, the weight doesn't need to be super heavy. It's here to give us a little bit of tactile feedback. Now, the first option with this is to pull the plate into you. This way you have the musculature of the back working for you. As you kind of build more range and you become a little more confident, you can hold the weight in the Zerker style to encourage a little bit more movement. But to start off with, have the plate held onto the side, okay? Now, Phil's taking that 5 steps out. He's gonna sink down. Now notice, he's pulling his knees. His intention is to use the butt here to pull the knees back behind him at all times, okay? Spine is fairly vertical, then keeping the knees back and hips low. He's gonna pitch forward and hinge down, okay? Hips sink down towards the ground a little bit more if you can. Now keeping the hips down, he's gonna slowly posture up, keeping the knees back. Again, nice and smooth, controlled work. One more time. Now, often what we see here is, this becomes fairly okay, but as people come up, they start to extend for the lower back. So they start to arch the lower back and flare the chest up. We want to make sure, guys, if this is you, I'd rather have your hips a little bit higher and the lower back flat. That way you can focus on pulling the knees back and then eventually dropping the hips down. One more time properly, please. We're going to pitch forward, nice and strong through the feet. Okay, holding for any duration prescribed, coming up, and then boom. And that's our horse stance. Good morning.